There's a really fascinating quote in today's notes, and it goes something like this. How you believe in yourself is exactly how you're going to act. If you've ever wondered why we struggle so much to study, or why we just keep procrastinating on our biggest goals, well, the answer isn't a lack of time. It's actually our identity. How you view yourself fundamentally dictates your real-world actions. If you see yourself as a chronic procrastinator, your actions are literally going to mirror that belief. But what if we could actually hack that system? Today, we're unpacking some really incredible student notes based on Psycho-Cybernetics. We're looking at a concrete, actionable playbook derived straight from these notes to help you shift your mind from completely distracted to absolutely disciplined. So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover how to change your self-image, then reprogram through visualization, destroying negative mindsets, building the professional student routine, and finally, your daily transformation plan. All right, let's dive straight into step 1, change your self-image. The source material points out this really fascinating psychological truth. The human brain is simply a goal-seeking machine. It's literally designed to lock on to targets and hit them. But here's the catch. Your self-image acts as its ultimate life control system. It determines what your brain thinks is actually possible. If your self-image tells you a goal is out of reach, well, your goal-seeking machine just shuts down before it even starts. Basically, how you view yourself is exactly how your life is going to shape up. You can think of a self-image as just a story we've been telling ourselves about what we deserve. To actually change, we have to actively eliminate or kind of cross out those old beliefs to make room for the new system. You can't just slap a few good habits on top of a bad identity and expect it to work. Notice the huge contrast here. If your old blueprint says, "I'm lazy," your goal-seeking machine is going to make absolutely sure you act that way. But if you adopt the new identity, "I am a disciplined student," starting today, even before you pass that big exam, the actions are naturally going to follow. Moving right along to step 2, reprogramming through visualization. Okay, so here are the exact mechanics of how you change. It's the success formula. A clear goal plus repetition plus emotion equals behavior change. The brain actually requires these 3 specific things to shift your habits. We need a highly specific target, we've got to repeat it daily, and, this is the big one, we have to inject strong emotional belief into it. Without the emotion, guys, it's really just daydreaming. The notes outline a really specific visualization method to help with this. Every single night, you're going to dedicate exactly 10 minutes to this. And let's be honest, that's way less time than we usually spend just doom scrolling on our phones in bed, right? You use vivid emotion to picture yourself engaging in calm, focused studying. Imagine having absolute confidence going into an exam. Make it feel incredibly real in your mind. By doing this right before you go to sleep, you're literally feeding that goal-seeking machine its new coordinates. And we can apply this mental rehearsal to pretty much anything difficult. The prime use cases listed here are exams, coding checkpoints, gym routines, and even high-pressure interviews. Before you tackle any of these tough tasks, mentally rehearse them. Imagine an easy start, unbroken focus, and a super successful finish. Because if you win in your mind first, the physical execution just becomes automatic. That brings us to step 3, destroying negative mindsets. The notes emphasize a really fundamental law here. Repeated thoughts form your core identity. So when your brain inevitably falls back into those old complaints and tells you, "I lack focus," we have to overwrite that immediately with, "I'm improving my focus daily." If your brain starts screaming, "I'm failing," we pivot straight to, "I learn from my mistakes." We're actively swapping out that old, buggy system for one of continuous improvement. Now, what happens if anxiety just totally takes over? Well, this brings us to the relaxation principle. The source issues a pretty stark warning about this. Overthinking directly damages your real-time performance and focus. If you're just vibrating with anxiety, your brain literally cannot access the discipline you've worked so hard to build. We have to learn how to ground ourselves. To combat all that anxiety, the notes provide super actionable pre-study protocol to use right before you do deep work. First, take a deep breath. Second, clean your desk because external order creates internal calm. Third, sit straight up to physically signal your body that you're ready. And fourth, start slow. Don't rush into it in a panic. Just ease your way into the work. All right, on to step 4, the professional student routine. The notes map out a crystal clear daily system for us to follow.
In the morning, we're waking up early, visualizing, exercising, and reviewing our goals. Then we get into our deep work blocks. These are strict 45 to 90-minute sessions with absolutely zero phone access, focusing on just one subject at a time. Then, in the evening, we do a daily performance review to track our mistakes. And finally, at night, we simulate our future success state through visualization right before bed. This right here is exactly how a professional operates. And that leads us to our final step. Step 5, your daily transformation plan. We're given 3 daily laboratory exercises to start executing immediately. First up is the self-image rewrite. This is where you clearly document who you are right now and who you want to become. Once you've got that set, you move to the second exercise, future visualization. Actively blueprint your ideal study setup and your ultimate success. And to back it all up, the third exercise is success recall. You're going to actively access past wins and moments of high confidence to remind your brain that you are completely capable of winning. To actually make this stick, the notes recommend committing to a 21-day reset track. You need to be tracking those early wake-ups, your daily study sessions, and your positive self-talk every single day for 3 weeks. According to the text, this kind of consistency is absolutely non-negotiable if you want the changes to be permanent. Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to this core equation. Repetition equals identity change. Look, motivation is fleeting. Inspiration is temporary. But consistent, daily repetition of the right actions and the right thoughts, that's the only thing that fundamentally transforms who we are. And when we start to compound these daily habits, we fulfill the ultimate success breakdown outlined in the text. We start building a true sense of direction. We gain much deeper understanding. We develop the courage to actually tackle the hard things. And we unlock a totally bulletproof sense of self-confidence. So I want to leave you with a really crucial point of self-reflection today. Take a second and ask yourself honestly, are your mind, your daily habits, and your core identity all moving in the exact same direction? Take a moment to just let the weight of that sink in. Because here is the final strategic lesson from this playbook. When your mind, your habits, and your identity finally align and point in the exact same direction, your personal transformation doesn't have to be forced anymore. It literally takes off automatically, like a rocket. So if your goal-seeking brain is ready for a new target, what identity are you going to choose to program tonight?